Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni mili wanji, namaste, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so delighted and so very honored that you join us in our mission to help all families grow closer through reading. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Good Pods, wherever you find your podcasts. Today, I am joined by Ann O'Leary interviewing Jim and Brad Toner, the Toner twins, celebrating their beautiful picture book, The Journey. Before we invite Jim and Brad into the studio, we want to invite you to connect with us on social media, facebook.com/readingwithyourkids, at Reading With Your Kids on Instagram, and at Jedley Magic on Twitter. And of course, we would love for you to visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. So much to do there. First off, if you are an author, please be sure to visit readingwithyourkids.com and click on the author's click here button up at the top of the page to find out how we can help celebrate your book to tens of thousands of people throughout the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and the entire world. If you're a parent, you absolutely want to check out our blog, see our latest Reading With Your Kids Certified Great Read, and download our free Reading With Your Kids magazine. And of course, you can use the contact button up at the top of the page to let us know what you love about the show, and let us know what we could be doing better, and let us know who you would like to hear on a future episode of the Reading With Your Kids podcast. Oh, I am really, really excited. We have a fantastic Reading With Your Kids episode for you today. First, allow me to introduce my co-host. She is one of the amazing interns we have working with us this semester from Emerson College. Please welcome to the show, Ann O'Leary. Hey, Ann, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I am delighted and doing really well. And you discovered in your journeys here in the podcast, you were up in New Hampshire, and as I recall, you discovered a book and a couple of authors. Tell us a little bit about that experience, please.
Yeah, so I was in Bristol, New Hampshire for the Memorial Day weekend. My friend, he has a lake house up there, and we decided to go visit, and it was so beautiful. And on the second day, we decided to go into the town a little bit to, walk around and see the sights. And we went into this store called Twin Designs, which was a toy store / gift store, and it was so cool. We just there was just all these cool items and things, and there was also a turtle named Diane, who is 50 years old, or 54, I believe, and she's in the back room, and it was really cool to go see her. And the owners were super, super nice, and I noticed that they had books on display, and I looked through them, and I found the most recent one that they published called The Journey, and I decided that it would be a really cool opportunity to interview these people and get to know them. So, yeah.
Well, I'm really excited, and you just joined the Reading With Your Kids team, and you've been trained so well. Obviously, you're out there on vacation, and you're thinking about the podcast, and that is fantastic. And so we should probably bring in the driving force behind Twin Toy Shop, Jim and Brad Toner. Hey, guys, how are you? Welcome to the Reading With Your Kids podcast.
Great. So nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
And as you can tell, they sound alike, so let's find out who's who. First, Jim, say hi, Jim. I know one of you is the illustrator, author, and the other is an author. Jim, what's your primary role with The Journey? You are the author.
Brad does all the illustrating.
So why don't we start with you, Jim? Tell us a little bit about The Journey.
Well, it's just one of those things that came to me about it can be the journey of life, the journey growing up, there's all kinds of things go on in your life. And we do have a 54-year-old turtle here. And it's Diane taking us on some life lessons. So we go through it. All our books are supposed to be uplifting and positive. So everything is positive. So that's what we do. And then I come up with these crazy ideas, and then Brad has to come up with the illustrations.
Well, Brad, let's talk about some of those crazy ideas that Jim comes up with and how challenging it is for you to translate those into images.
Well, he comes up with an idea, and then he says, okay, Diane, the first thing of any journey is you got to take your first step. So I've got to figure out, how do I have Diane the Turtle taking her first step? So I came up with a lake scene, since we're in the lakes region, and Diane is crossing rocks. So she's putting her foot out to touch those rocks and get across the... Can we show that picture?
Well, you can, but you'll have to turn on your video.
We don't have the video on?
You don't. I still think there's just one of you to be there, to be honest with you.
Well, that...
There we go. All right. There are two. There are two. Okay.
Well, there he is.
Very exciting.
You can tell we're really good at this.
Kind of a little hinky winter going on. But today
I'm Brad. He's Jim. I'm Jim. And I paint the pictures, and he writes the stories.
Excellent.
So when I come up with the idea, Brad had to come up with a little turtle beginning their journey. So that's not an easy thing to place a turtle like this. And I got to make her feel like it's going to be a journey of her life. And so I make the trees tall and the road winding, and he's very humble. He's a fabulous illustrator, and he can take these images. That's her taking her first step, and he can somehow put expressions on a tiny little figure, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Well, you know, I'm really happy that you talked to. We talk about everything here in the Reading with Your Kids podcast, and I love talking to creators about their craft and how they come up with their stories and how they come up with the illustrations that they create. And Brad, you just shared a little bit about, you wanted to talk about the journey that your turtle is going to be on, and so to kind of demonstrate that it's going to be a long journey. She's just a tiny little turtle alongside these giant trees and down this windy road. And that's probably the kind of journey that Anne's facing right now, and as she's in college.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, she doesn't know where that journey's going to take her. You never know. There's twists and turns. Yes. You never know. So we make sure that there's every journey. I was going to show the one where Diane, there are days where you don't want to you find your journey might take you get you off the path, and it's a rainy day and you want to stay in your shell. There is going to be those days. But you got to learn to dance in the rain. And that's those days where you find yourself going in the right direction. So, that's what we try to do. And everything in your life should be a positive thing. And the people you meet, along the way, like Anne, we've met Anne, and she's part of our journey. Right, and she's going to meet people in college. She may know them the rest of their lives. She may not. This is telling you how some people will be with you your whole journey. Other people will pass beyond that, but you'll remember them in your memories forever. So that's what your journey is all about.
Yeah. So, Anne, I didn't mean to compare you to a turtle, but this is a lovable turtle. So,
she's met Diane. She knows this is good. Diane was given to us in 1968, so we've been with Diane a long journey with Diane.
So, Anne, what was it about the book, other than just being on the lookout for great books for the podcast? What was it about the journey that really caught your eye?
Well, first the illustrations really caught my eye. I just they're so beautiful. I just love the colors and just the detail with everything. Every every illustration in this book has such a purpose to it. Like, there's such intention behind every illustration, which I really, really loved. Second off, I just loved the message overall. It was really sweet. It was really heartfelt, and I felt like, I don't know, I think it's something someone can read at any age, whether you're a little kid or you're 80 years old. I feel like this is a great book for anyone to read, and I really enjoyed it. So
that's so nice. Thank you. Because we're finding out people are telling us they're buying it for graduation presents, retirement presents. So we're finding that is broadening to all kinds of ages.
They've seen. So that's the nice thing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that about my paintings, because I get into every little detail. I make sure that Diane's got a smile on her face or a concerned look, and when she climbs, as we said, she climbs. You're climbing a mountain right now. You're going to find that mountain has a beautiful view, and so Diane's got to climb each rock in that path. So it's like, and then she has a beautiful view when she gets there. So that's what we try to do, to make sure everything. Jim has to tell me to stop. Okay. No, you got enough detail in it. So
yeah, this book took Brad a long time to illustrate, because he really, really did fabulous illustrations.
Yeah. So Jim, one of the things, folks, we have folks who listen to us all around the world. We've actually been, the podcast has been downloaded to every single continent, including Antarctica. I don't know if the folks in Antarctica are listening to this episode, but people might not be aware of the fact that Boston, here we are, Boston, one of the biggest cities in the nation. But if you drive north for an hour and a half, couple hours, suddenly you're in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, which is a totally different world. It really is a beautiful place.
This is small town America where we are. This is a very small place. It's off the beaten path. There aren't big hotels and everything. This is a very different place. And it is not far from Boston. That's the one advantage of these areas. It's only a couple of hours, and we can come down and see everyone in Boston. That's what's so nice about it. But it is we are off the beaten path, which is kind of.
And we're lucky because we are in the Lakes region. We get to meet people from all over the world.
We do, like Ann. It's so fabulous. So every day, you never know who's going to walk through the door.
We had some Emerson College students the other day.
We
that
did.
Came in to visit us. They visit us every year. So
they come and visit Diane every year.
They do.
So the college kids don't come, and you don't immediately throw them out and lock the doors and say close for the day?
No, we love what we do, and we have so much fun with people that everyone that walks through our door, whether or not they want it or not, we feel like we need to entertain them. So we entertain everyone that comes in our
all
door.
Walks of life.
All walks of life. It's really, really fun.
It's
all ages. It's really fun.
You have people with, obviously in this area, with great wealth, and then there's people who don't have much at all, and we have fun with them all. So it's very, very nice. Yeah. And we find that people come in and they can be from Argentina, and they don't speak much English, but they'll come in and all of a sudden Diane breaks some barriers with them, and we start having fun with them. And
there are all kinds of problems in this world, and for a few minutes, we try to take that all away from everyone. It's kind of an oasis of nice.
Yeah.
That's what we really try to do, because we know everyone has things in their life going on. That's what our books are about. There's nice things out there.
I love that. An oasis of nice. So
it's true.
It really is true. That is what we do.
We want you to come whatever age, come in, and like Ann came in, and I'd like to say we were in Ann's age group, but we've been around for a long time. And so if we can reach somebody like Ann, it means the world to us.
It does.
Because that's some people, they're in their 20s or 30s or teens, whatever. And, I don't know if nothing in common, but we find that one thing we have in common is everybody's looking for something nice.
They are.
And peaceful, and that they can sort of disagree.
And all our books, that's the one thing. You'll never find something that isn't upbeat and nice. That's the whole thing. Because we go to we see these books out there, some of them are even famous, and we
we go, oh my gosh, our things are all nice, all nice.
So, Brad, how is it that the Oasis of Nice came to be? I know you twins. You were probably driving your parents crazy at some point. Where did the idea that we're going to open up this toy shop and host it?
We've started our business about 30 something years ago, where we sold to gift stores around the country. And
Brad's artwork.
Our artwork to whatever resort or area around the country. And then about 12 years ago, we decided to have a store because Jim says,
we're selling to stores. Why don't we have a retail store?
And all we saw was the UPS man. That's all we saw when we had the wholesale business. And then all of a sudden we opened up our doors and we started in this little town, which there wasn't much here when we came. We met some incredible people in the town who were just
a wonderful
fantastic. They walked through the door and they just brightened our days. And we started this store, and the minute we opened the doors, it was just, this is what we should have been doing our entire lives. Because we meet so many wonderful people.
We think we are so blessed to do what we do. We stand out here in the morning. We go, how lucky are we that we get to do this?
And the funniest
people like Ann and people coming through the door, it's fabulous.
And the funniest part is when we started the store, we had for all these years, we've had this dime store Turtle who's been with us. So we always have to have some place to put her. And so we got the store here and we saw a room in the back. And we put Diane in this room and had the big tank, and she was kind of off the scene. And then we started to show her to people who would bring their children in or, would have just come for his visit. And it started to snowball from there with Diane. People started to love it. So she became a big part of our store, even though we've always loved her. It was wonderful to see that you could have people from New Zealand or from Bulgaria, wherever they were from. They love Diane.
And Ann can tell you that our walls are absolutely covered with photographs of people that have come and visited Diane. There's thousands of pictures, and every one of them is smiling. So no matter what goes on in your life, that few minutes, you forget all about that, and it's fun. Yeah. That's what we do.
So, Jim, where did the idea... So I get it. Brad is this incredibly talented artist, and you're a great business person, and you're helping him spread his art around the world. Then you have the idea for this toy store, and it's not like you're not doing anything. You're a busy guy, and then all of a sudden you decide, I got some extra time on my hands. I'm going to write children's books.
Well, I think it's like anyone that's creative. These things just come to you. Like this came to about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, yes.
All of a sudden you can't force yourself. You can't force yourself to do these. And all of a sudden, this idea came to me, and I said to Brad, I think I have an idea for a new book. And, one day I come in, I think, he's called The Journey. What do you think? And then I start saying, and he's looking at me like, because he's going to paint these things. But it takes months and months and a long time to come up with every idea of the journey. And that's what, it just floats around there. It's fun. Yeah. And we go off and we bounce back and forth. We'll say, what about this idea? And one day he'll stop painting one and we'll go, well, maybe that's not the way of the journey's going to go. And that's how we do it. Right till the end before this, he came up with another. He was actually a glutton for punishment because he came up for another page. I said, you sure you want to have to paint another idea? That's how we do it. That's how we
Well, that's fascinating. Brad, one of the things that I was really surprised to learn doing this podcast is that when it comes to traditional picture books printed by those giant publishing companies, the author and the illustrator typically have absolutely no contact with each other. In fact, we've had a couple of occasions where the author and illustrator, the first time they met each other was here on the podcast. And in my conversation with publishers and illustrators and also authors, sometimes it's like, yeah, that separation is really good. Then you don't have the author kind of chirping in your ear and telling you what to do by email and getting all these messages. I don't know. Is it tough sometimes when you're doing the artwork and you're taking the manuscript and turning it in? You have to have Jim there going, dude, nah, that ain't the way to do it.
Well, we're twins,
So we're thinking along the same lines.
Like he'll come in the morning and say, I have this idea, and I'll come, half hour later, and we have the same idea. So it's like we work.
So for
incredibly well.
us, being the twin thing, it works unbelievable. And I think the books have more feeling because of that, because unlike a person who's just reading a line, he doesn't understand what that, it's nice, but maybe doesn't really get what the person meant. Brad knows exactly what I meant there, because we're working like that.
And he'll say, like, that scene I had with the turtle climbing the mountain, he'll say, now I think in the background you should have this. And so I take his ideas and I actually like any criticisms he gives me. I always ask, tell me what's not right here. I want to know. And he will say, no, that's great. He never really gives me any criticism.
Actually, my only criticism of Brad is he's such a perfectionist. Sooner or later, I always say, the painting's perfect. Time to move on.
Yeah, we have a great team. So,
but see, this is the journey, the original painting.
And I start with doing each painting. I do like 7 paintings at a time. And so then I go back and I'll work on this one, and then I'll come over and work on that one, and then he'll say, that's great, or here's an idea.
But you see this one here. I came up with the thing that along your journey, people are going to ask you to try to change you into something else. Brad comes up with this fabulous little turtle. I mean, it's fabulous, and these big animals are looking at it, and she's not going to change. She's going to be herself.
Yeah,
that's not easy to come up with.
It's like those students at Emerson College. They're creative. They're going off on a journey that some of these big guys might look at and say, "You're out of your mind." But they're creative. They have to do this. So that's
kind of like us. We've never listened to anyone tell us we couldn't do this. So yeah.
So I'm like, this is what I did that I came up with in the middle of the night. I came up with, like, you've got to look at yourself at the end of the journey, and you got to like what you see. So Diane's looking into a reflection in the water. So she sees herself, and at the end of her journey, she likes what she's seen because she's gone the right way, done the right path, and done good things. So.
That's really, really fascinating, and I really appreciate you sharing with us that process of doing multiple paintings, multiple spreads at the same time. I feel like I've been hogging this conversation all morning long. Anne, did you have any questions for our guest?
Yeah, let me look over some things. I would love to just know, like, the origin as well as the inspiration behind your books.
And, it's like I said, it's one of those things that they just come to us. Well, like one of our books we wrote was Glad to Be Your Dad, my dad.
Yeah.
And that's about a frog that loses his job. And that came up because one time I lost my job, and I thought, life still goes on. It's about your family, not about your job. And that, that's how things happen. Life events.
And the frog loses his job, but you still can play leapfrog together, and
he thinks he's disappointing his family, but his family loves him, and he loves his family, and no matter what, that's what it's all about.
And that's how we started a business, because I lost my job. We actually worked for the same company.
Twins, and we both lost our job at the same time. And we looked at each other and said, we're never going to work for anyone, never again, and we never have.
So that was the start of our crazy journey in doing this.
Let's Be Nice came to us because it's just a world of too much news about not being nice. So we go, no, let's write a book about being nice. So that's how we did that. So it's life experiences and what comes to you. And people have asked us things, but you can't, at least for us, we can't force ourselves to come up with a story. So we don't. It has to kind of evolve into something.
I might say to him, we're never going to get this done if you don't finish this story, because I've got to paint all these pictures after you've written it. He'll say, I'm going to only make it this long. So I said, then I add more to it. And I said, wait, you need this. So
that is what happens.
Because that's the one thing about illustration, that people who have ideas or whatever, the illustrator has to take a long time to paint these things. So that's why we work so well together, because it is, you write a wonderful story, but you got to find somebody who can translate that into a book, and that takes a long process.
It's a wonderful journey.
It
is a journey. This was a journey, and we are very pleased how it came out, and it's a journey.
Yeah. Well, I understand how long it takes. I'm actually, I'm in between studios recovering from an injury. And so my beautiful wife is allowing me to set up my recording studio here in her art studio, which I'm surrounded by beautiful watercolors that she creates. So I understand that process takes an awful long time. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think Jim and Brad should somehow come up with a story of their shop being invaded isn't quite the word, but being visited by a group of talented Emerson students who, I don't know, maybe fall down some rabbit hole and near the lakes and go on some kind of journey?
Maybe like a group of talented turtles or something like that, or talented woodland creatures. And
well, we tell you the story of the Emerson school students who came in a few years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, and we had a wonderful time like we did with Anne. And at the end of they bought a few things, and they bought some friendship bracelets that we were selling, and instead of buying them for themselves, they gave them to us. It was it was one of those really touching moments. And we put their picture on the wall in Diane's room,
and we have the friendship bracelets hanging from there.
And the friendship, and then and fortunately, they didn't just disappear like a lot of our customers do, go back in their lives around the world or whatever. They've come back. They were here the other day.
They were.
And we had just as much fun with them now as we did when they first came in. So
we hope, Anne, you'll come back and visit us.
Definitely.
I'd love to come back.
Absolutely.
And Anne, do you know how you can tell that they're not in they're close to Boston, but they're not in Boston? Do you know how you can tell?
I can't tell how.
They hung up the friendship bracelets. They didn't try to sell them again.
I thought you were gonna say like it's like. I thought you were gonna say because their screens are so sunny and like the air looks so fresh.
Nah, see, you're not jaded. You're too young. Well, I know, you know, I just love this. One of the things that, you know, I've been traveling, doing educational magic shows around the country for over 30 years. One of the things I love doing, because I do visit a lot of small towns, is to go into a shop like yours and just talk to the proprietors about what it is that they're doing. Even I had this experience. I don't play piano. If I go near piano keyboards, police come out and you know, send me away. But I went into this one keyboard store one time and just asked the gentleman about the different instruments that he had, and he gave me a master class on the keyboard, and it was fascinating, and it was just so wonderful. And I have a feeling, Anne, that's kind of what you experienced when you visited the twins' shop, that you just came in and you were immersed in their world, and they welcomed you into it. And I'm so happy that you found them, and that we invited you here on the podcast, Jim and Brad.
Oh, we are so thankful that you did. We hope you'll come and visit us someday.
Please do.
That sounds like a plan.
We're not that far away.
I know. So where can we go? First off, do you have a presence online? Is there a website where folks can go and visit you?
We have twindesignsgiftshop.com.
We also have DianeTheTurtle.com, which is Diane streaming live.
So yeah, you can go in. We have, like, Anne can go in there and wave to all the students at Emerson and say, I'm with Diane the Turtle today. So
we do a lot of schools.
We
have a lot of schools buy the Diane book, and then they read it to the kids, and they put it on this Diane. We go in there and wave and everything. It's really
we don't know they're there, but they tell us at 11:30 we're going to be reading Diane's book, and we're going to watch her live webcam. So we'll go in and wave at that time. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Awesome. And if I want to grab my beautiful wife and gently put her in our car and take a drive up to the Lakes region, where can we find the physical Twin Design shop?
We're in Central Square in Bristol. Take exit 23. Right? Instead of opposite of Winnipesaukee, you go this way to New Farm.
You take a left.
Most people are turning that way.
Yeah, most people take a right. We're on the left, so it's a more offbeat area, but it's a little relaxed.
Yeah, much more relaxed.
So it's exit 23 off of Interstate 93 in New Hampshire,
Yes.
Bristol.
It is.
Bristol,
It
New
is.
Hampshire.
About 7 miles off the interstate. You're going to
Straight road right
you're
from.
going to be in Central Square. So it's
Awesome.
a little. It's a little. It actually is a square with.
It's
very cute.
It's a really nice town.
old-
Wonderful, really wonderful. People.
Yes.
And it's a straight shot. We don't have to take a right at the bear that looks
No,
like
right.
a rock
You
and
come
a
down
rock.
the hill and our store
we're
is right in front of you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Brick store with a green awning. You can't miss it.
Wow.
And a neon turtle sign in the window.
Well, I want to thank our guests, Jim and Brad Toner. They are the authors of The Journey and the proprietors of Twin Designs Toy Shop. And I want to thank our amazing intern, Ann O'Leary, for discovering our guests today. Thank you all for being here on the Reading With You Kids podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading With Your Kids podcast. Brooke Young will be here to celebrate something we absolutely love, Hindy's Library. We've had folks from Hindy's Library on before. This is a really amazing charity that is doing fantastic things for literacy throughout the world. You don't want to miss it. That's the next episode of the podcast. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, I want to start by thanking our guests, Jim and Brad Toner. Please be sure to check out The Journey. Also want to thank my incredible co-host for today, Ann O'Leary. Want to thank the rest of my team, Fatima Khan, Rory Grady, Madison Dieris, Monica Rivera Sosa, Soji Franklin. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.